What you are about to witness will contain violence, disturbing imagery, adult themes, and may leave you doubting who you thought you were. Proceed at your own risk.
Legendary mages steal from themselves.
The mage paused again, turning, and this time pointing at the boy with the tip of his quill and a concerned frown, almost accusatory.
You must be very careful with this method because nature will always course correct. If you forget, your debts will be paid one way or another. This is an incredibly difficult rite to master. As to be a master, you must be skilled in conjuration, divination, and convocation. And if you thought summoning was difficult, the rite of illusions is perhaps the most difficult to even gain intermediate skill in, let alone master. Beginning illusionists are trying to convince everyone around them and themselves that the torch that is not lit really is in fact on fire. Often these attempts present as illusionary at first, with mages casting fires that don't burn or even fade when touched. But when they become stronger, they convince the world and themselves that it was always on fire. That is when the fire affects the world around it. Until then, its effects are only in the mind. Most illusionists will peak at this point in their journey to mastery, with fires so real that even they forget it is still within their control, and that it will follow the rules of the world and universe as you understand them, not as you write them. It may seem simple, but it's more difficult to change your beliefs versus affording space to summon a fireball. The illusionist's worst enemy is themselves, and it takes a special kind of mental fortitude to master the illusion right. They often have a very difficult time with healing themselves, because it's incredibly difficult to remember that pain is just an illusion when you are the one in pain. Now, let's say I asked you to magic up a cup of tea. You can choose to transmute by altering the elements of the atoms in the air to have your tea automatically brewed. Obviously, this gets easier if you already have a cup of water. But it's not impossible to transmute a cup if you don't have one at all. You could choose convocation to fold time in space and summon a cup in front of you. Some wizards theorize you are borrowing the tea from your future self. We've all had that moment where we set something down for a second, and then moments later we can't find it. Nobody wants to admit they're stealing from themselves, but this is the case. And most likely why you find it somewhere you don't remember putting it several days later. You just haven't put it there yet. Time and space are the same dimension, don't you know? Just different directions. And using illusion, you can trick yourself so profoundly to think you're having tea. This is for you if you're watching your calories or too busy working to wash up afterwards. I love a good illusionary tea.
Please do sit down, Vega.
I'd rather stand, I think, right now, thank you.
Yes, I suppose you would.
I'll ask you one more time. Take me back. I have one
Take
duty,
yourself back.
and that is to Lear, and I must protect him.
Right. And you think you can protect him in your current state?
What do you mean current state? It's perfectly fine. I'm fine. I'm capable. I'm
Is that
pretty
right?
sure I have all my limbs and everything else intact.
You think it's going to take limbs to protect Lear?
Sure, that's probably part of it at the very least, right?
I'd wager no.
Why? No, I'm not asking you questions. I'm not asking you anything. Because last time we asked you questions, things went horribly, horribly wrong. And I don't even know why I'm talking to you. I shouldn't even be having a conversation with you right now. I shouldn't tell you anything. Right? That's what you want. You want to be told nothing. You want to be kept in the dark. You want nothing so you can protect us from yourself. So why am I here?
Well, there's nothing that you know that I don't know, so at this present moment, you should be fine to converse with me.
I take a look around my surroundings. What does it look like right now?
This is just a circular keep. You'd think it was maybe part of a tower. Stone walls with tapestries on them, mostly red in color. There is a pretty extensive fireplace with a fire burning, a mantelpiece with sort of oddities on it. 2 armchairs. One of them is very big and very old looking. One of them a little smaller, still relatively old looking, but angled towards the fire. I am sat in the smaller of the 2, kind of leaning back looking at you. There is a door behind you that leads out, 2 windows that are covered and shuttered.
I am pacing around the room right now. My hands are shaking slightly, and I'm stomping almost quite angrily as I walk around. If something happens to Lear when I'm not there, there could be horrible consequences for all of us. Myself, for Jude, obviously for Lear. But Jude can look after him. She's good at looking after him. But I shouldn't. I need to be with him, but I could learn things.
Horrible consequences such as what? What are you expecting to happen, Vega?
He dies?
You think that's the worst outcome?
It'd been his for me, I think. If he dies, I have no purpose. If he dies, I've failed. That's the whole fucking point of me existing. The whole point of everything I've ever trained for, everything I've tried to be, everything is to protect Lear. If he dies, I have failed.
How altruistic.
I highly doubt it's altruism. It's purpose. It's duty. It's knowing your place when you're growing up. I knew my place. I didn't at first, but I knew my place, and I've grown to enjoy my place. And just being here, the fact that I haven't tried to leave here means I've failed in a way.
Where is here?
I don't know. Where is
Precisely.
here? Is this
You don't
real?
know. Good question. Finally,
Don't be
you're
coy.
asking questions.
Okay, you want me to ask questions? Is this another illusion?
Not one of mine.
Whose? The same person who made illusions of my parents?
Illusions of your parents. Explain that to me.
You already know about... We were there. That's where we saw you the second time, when we'd been back, and... I saw my mother and my father, and everything was as it was months ago, 4 months ago, as if nothing had changed. And when I touched my mother, it's like everything solidified, but then it all disappeared again. Like we'd shifted or something.
Doesn't sound much like an illusion to me.
You said it was an illusion. What about what happened back in Blackbird? We had to kill our friends. I had to kill people I've known for years. You said that was an illusion. A powerful one.
Yes, perhaps. Well, I posited it was an illusion. How can you ever say for sure? If something is able to cast such powerful illusions, then how do you know that everything you have ever known, including your own feelings, your own purpose that you described, is not an illusion?
Then how is anything real at that point? How can you trust anything? If you start thinking like that, then you trust nothing and everything means nothing.
That is precisely why I'm here. And you, why not take a seat?
Fine.
As she sits down, I put my hand out to one side and ale appears and I hand it to her. There you go. Ale.
Is it?
Yes.
Is this real?
What is real?
Right, you're going to give me the whole, it's real if you think it's real, so it might as well be real, because if you assume it's real, then you can pretend and make yourself believe it is.
Well, you're finally beginning to learn.
Tastes pretty good.
It should do.
Okay. I'm only here right now because I think maybe you can teach me things that can help us. So what do you want?
Well, what do I want? Not too dissimilar to what you want. Except in place of Lear, you could put Razroth, Estrella, Titus.
So you fulfill the role that Jude and I fulfill?
No,
How?
I don't believe I do.
So
You have your counterparts. Estrella and Titus.
So why are you fulfilling Titus's place? Why have you not just left them?
Well, I'm not taking his place precisely. I'm just not quite sure where he is.
Okay.
You all seem to think I have every answer that there is when really I have none. I have
That's
a
really
good guess.
comforting.
I'm able to summon up ale and pull the hearts from people. But,
Yes. Yeah, you're really fucking good at that, aren't you? Have you done that before?
oh yeah, several times.
Great, I'm glad that rumor was true.
That's really rather easy to do. Surely you learned how to do that yourself.
No. In most of my classes, they didn't really teach me how to pull the heart from someone's living body and throw it at the person I care about. No, most
What
of my...
do you know of debt magic?
It's something I try not to dabble in, really. It's
Why?
because it's dangerous.
Who told you that?
Everybody. It's obvious, isn't it? You take, and sometimes you don't even know where you're taking from. How could that be safe? You don't know what sort of things you could be setting in motion in the future. You have no idea.
Well, what if you did know?
Then you'd be having to make these calculations all the time, every single time you wanted to use any magic whatsoever. And then what if in the heat of the moment in battle, every time I use my magic, I don't have time to make those calculations. I have to go, I have to do.
Well, that's why you would have been practicing at that instead of spinning a sword around.
Isn't debt magic exactly what got us into this fucking mess?
Well, trying to figure that one out as well. What precisely do you know of magic? How were you taught and in what way?
I kind of just... You know, they choose us when we're, 8, 7 years old? We just sort of accidentally do something, I suppose, and they see it and they see that skill and they try and train us up, but I never really had to think about it all that much. In fact, I hid it for a while because I didn't want anything to do with it. I didn't want that sort of life. But here we are.
What did you do to draw their attention eventually?
I put on a show because I had to do something. So I knew my time was past. It was 2 years. I was 2 years older than I really should have been to be trained. So I walked to the town center and I evaporated every single liquid in all of the barrels all of the merchants had. I made it all disappear. And then I made it cascade from the sky straight into the middle of the square, and I stood in the middle. And when the cascade ended, I was completely dry. And that certainly got their attention.
So you're a summoner?
I don't think they really ever put a label on it. I think about the effect I want to have, and then I just do it. But it's always been emotionally attached. If I'm angry, it tends to be bigger, flashier.
And, do you locate a source before conjuring whatever it is that you need?
I don't think I do. I guess I sort of imagine it, like if I wanted to, I would just think back on when I've experienced something like that before and build it in my mind, like I don't know, like I construct it, I suppose. And then I've done it often enough with so many things that I don't have to think about it so much anymore. It's like I've built a catalogue in my head of all the things I could ever want to create. And it's never usually big things, so it's not hard, I suppose.
Do it now, then. Something small. Show me.
Okay. I hold my hand out and I visualize a small wooden carved hummingbird. And I make it appear in front of me.
Where did this come from?
There was a man at the market. He used to carve all sorts of things. Is this stealing? Maybe this is stealing. I never really bought one of the hummingbirds before, I guess. I guess he
Well,
never
if you
had
took it
stuff.
from him, then I imagine yes.
I don't think it did, though. I think maybe this isn't exactly the one he had. I think the one he had was larger and painted. This is like a worse version, I suppose.
It's a very
Memory.
important distinction.
I suppose I didn't study it as much. Why? What do you want to know?
Well, you may be, circumventing the debt magic you so fear. I wonder if it's the fear of doing such a thing that they instilled in you that allows you to do it. Or perhaps it's some sort of natural talent or something else.
Maybe.
And, has anybody tried to hone this skill in you before? Or teach you other rites of magic?
Sorry. Say that again.
Anybody in the place that you were trained with sword and shield? Mages or specialists of any kind? Had they shown you other skills, and have you ever shown them this?
I mean, this is just how you do magic, isn't it? This is just how you... I mean, Jude read a lot of the theories. She read a lot of textbooks. She would always try and teach me how to discipline myself and do things properly, the real way, so I don't know, to tire myself out or...
Yes, forget all of that.
But it's been very helpful.
Oh, no, I'm sure it's limiting you.
It's focusing me.
Well, you've, possibly mastered one of the rites. Naturally. Something that I've been working towards almost my entire life. Somewhat.
Well, then I probably shouldn't teach you, should I?
It's not a matter of teaching.
Well, I probably shouldn't explain it to you then. You asking questions about how I do it is surely not a good idea.
Oh, no. I know precisely how you do it.
How?
I'm just surprised that you can. So completely. So easily.
Well, maybe I'm not doing it the way you think I am. Maybe it's you just misunderstand. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just very normal, the way everyone else does it, and maybe I understand it wrong. How are you supposed to explain how thoughts feel in your head? You just assume everybody else thinks the same way, right? You assume that everybody has the same way of thinking, the same lines of thought in their head, but they don't, do they?
I wonder. What you think of as debt magic is summoning, conjuration, convocation, bringing something to you from somewhere else. A manifestation like this thing you've brought here is a very different rite. It's illusion. The rite of illusion is perhaps the most difficult to even gain an intermediate skill in, let
Wait,
alone
you're saying
master.
This is an illusion. This.
Well, not anymore, no. For it is real. You see it, feel it. If you were to cast it into the fire, it would burn, would it not?
I throw it into the fire. That's. How do you craft an illusion in someone else's mind? You see it, right? You think it's real. You see it burning in the fire. So how do you make anyone else believe that?
Well, that's it. That's really all it comes down to, and in the beginning, illusionists are simply trying to convince everyone around them and themselves that there is a torch, that it is not lit, that it is in fact on fire. But as they become stronger, the illusionists can convince the world and themselves that it was always on fire, and that effect of it simply being a visual thing, something that you can see, would shift. Something that you know to be an illusion as you put your hand out and feel it burn, then to look down and see a wound. At what point does the illusion simply become reality?
Is Jude an illusion?
Why would you suspect that?
If that's what you think my magic is. It's in illusions.
Did you manifest Jude yourself?
I didn't think about it. That's why we have training. That's why Jude does everything by the book, because I didn't think about it. I just did it.
Would it matter?
Yes. If there's something out there so much more powerful than you, surely they could undo an illusion. And what if they undo illusions? And they undo Jude.
Well, there are things out there far more powerful than all of us. Undoing an illusory Jude would not be any different to somebody simply running a sword through her heart. She would still be gone, no?
I don't think you're going to have an answer for this, are you? But how am I supposed to trust anything that I've known? How do I trust that it's real? But then would it matter? Would it matter if any of it's real anyway? If I think it's real, if it's what I've experienced and everything I've known, then would it matter if it's real? Really, in the grand scheme of things?
Yes, I have struggled with the question myself before. Does it not simply come down to intention? If you had created or destroyed Jude, if you loved something, someone, or you had them taken away, all of those feelings, those thoughts, the pain of losing somebody that you love, if that person was an illusion and you lost them, would your pain be real?
real for me. What if I've created things that exist in other people's minds as well? Is that fair?
Well, what is fairness? Who balances that scale?
Who balances anything?
Precisely. The fundamentals of manifestation, the illusory magic. The part that is difficult isn't summoning up an illusion or manifesting a paper crane or a flame to a torch. It's changing your own beliefs, twisting the mentality of those around you to believe that the thing is very real, that it can burn in the fire. But if it burns, it burns. Do you need to know where the line is?
Yes. If anybody could use that to do anything.
Precisely.
What?
I have many theories about what is going on. But I think at the end of it all, there is somebody like that. Somebody who is trying to grasp power beyond power, perhaps. Or to rewrite reality, or the rules that govern it, or something of that nature.
Could an illusion kill?
Well, of course.
What if
If you can
everything...
summon up a bow and arrow and fire it through the heart of a person, do you
What
think
if
they would
everything,
die?
this whole world, everything that's happened is an illusion?
Hmm.
And all those people died?
That is very much one of my theories.
Then surely it can be undone with an illusion.
Well, what if your world is the illusory one? And what if there is another that is real? What if we are the dream?
Well, then where do I belong?
If I had to hazard a guess, I would say with Jude and with Lear. No? Regardless?
Yeah.
Does it matter if you are a dream, if you are an illusion, or if they are? As you said, your emotions are quite real.
Does that mean nothing we do really matters? Except to ourselves?
I have no answer for that question.
You didn't answer my question. Who is creating this, if not you?
As far as I can tell, this is not an illusion.
How can you tell? What are there hallmarks? Are there things you can look out for? Are there markers? Is there anything that means you can tell that it's not an illusion, it's real? If I touch it and it feels real, it doesn't mean anything, does it?
The person who taught me my magic. A very old man named Blackbird. He would sit in that chair where you are now. Teach me all of the rites. Summoning, alchemy, illusion, divination. He would whisper of other things. If anybody built this place out of an illusion, it would have been him. But who is he? Perhaps he's you. Perhaps he's me.
Well, what happened to him?
He's still out there somewhere, wandering around, mumbling to himself.
Could it be him that did that? Would you know?
I suspect eventually I will, yes. It doesn't matter to me whether it is or it isn't real right now. It's serving a simple purpose. A room that we can sit in. A room where time is moving a little slower for us so that we can take our time. And you needn't
Surely
worry
it
whether
does
Lear's
matter,
having
though.
his head cut off or not.
If you didn't create this illusion, then what? It could influence you in ways you don't even know about, surely.
Yes. Precisely the point I've been trying to make to all of you. Precisely the point that I tried to make when I pulled the heart
Stop.
out of
You
your
can
love.
stop. You can stop whenever you want.
Mm.
You don't need that right now. These emotions aren't mine. This anger isn't mine. I can tell. You know, I can tell when I've taken something and it isn't mine. It's like having vanilla cookies, but when your mother makes them, they taste very specific, and when your grandmother makes them, they taste very different for some reason, and you can't put your finger on why, because they're still fucking vanilla cookies, right? But you can
Is that
tell when
right?
they're not yours.
I didn't really know my mother. I've certainly never met her grandmother.
There's a rumor that you aren't even born naturally.
Perhaps we should find out.
How?
I've been thinking about doing this for a little while. Trying to go back to the start.
The start of you, or the start of everything?
I suppose, that could be one and the same.
But if you are the start of everything, then how do you have predecessors? How do you have a teacher? How are you an
A better
apprentice?
question is whether there is a start of everything.
Okay, run me through that one. What does that mean?
I've been toying with the idea as to whether we are on a set path like fate, whether time is simply looping around, whether we can change anything or whether it matters if the two of us sit here for years, or whether we head on out, perhaps we head back. If there is a set path, then it doesn't matter, does it? We're going to end up doing it either way. If not, can we change it? If things are looping, time itself, why? If I am this strong now, my understanding of magic, then how strong will I become? At what point do I stop being me and start being something else, a new element of sorts, you understand? That's always been my ambition, I suppose you could call it.
To be something more than what you are right now?
Yes.
Why?
Why not? What is the purpose of all of this?
Why for you? Power? Curiosity?
That's what I was told to do.
Duty?
I suppose. They snatched me up like you, though I was 5. I had boiled some water, made some fire, they thought that was interesting, and they brought me here.
Do you remember your parents?
Yes. I've been back to the village. They would parade me through town, have me do tricks and things.
Which village?
Every few years. Spending time with my family was not really something that I had time for. Eventually, when I was old enough to make those decisions, they sent me off to learn how to train. That was when I met Raz, Estrella, Titus, the others. See, the problem now is part of me would like to stop. You know, somebody else told me who to be, what to do, and inside of that I learned all of these rites, how to cast these spells. And when do you stop? When you can summon up fire, when you can manifest an illusion into reality, or when you become something completely new. Something that I can't even comprehend yet. Perhaps the very thing that we're fighting against. But is that what I want? Or is that what somebody told me to do? Is that some sort of path laid out for me by something else that came before me? Do I fight that fate? Part of me wants to move to a little village. You know, settle down with a lover, perhaps. Find a son and 2 daughters. That's what I want. Specifically. 1 boy, 2 girls.
And what would we teach them? What would they be?
Well, I should teach them how to chop their own firewood with their own hands. And I would teach them with my own.
You have to learn on your own first, then.
Yes, precisely. But alas, if I do that, today, now, perhaps I'm condemning all of our friends to a fate worse than death. Still don't know where Titus is, and I don't think I could happily rest at night or chop that firewood without being sure that I couldn't have done something more.
Hard to chop firewood in a dead world.
However, if the thing that we are struggling against that is so much more powerful than you or I is in fact simply me from the future or from somewhere else, or whatever I become, whatever you become, then stepping away now would break that cycle, wouldn't it? It would stop that thing from snatching up Titus.
Then what if that's what you've done every time? You've stepped away because that's what your instinct tells you to do. And every time you've allowed it to spiral.
Right. Well, that's why I've started drinking. Also, I currently can't see.
What?
Yes, I thought I'd better make myself blind.
What?
Yes, that way I'm experiencing this conversation differently to you, at least on one level.
Is anything ever just simple with you? Do you ever just sit down with a friend and have a cup of tea and just discuss a book you've read recently? And why is everything so 15 layers deep?
No, I've never done that. And I should very much like to.
Have you ever known peace? Have you ever just sat with yourself and done something for yourself? Or have you been doing this always?
All problems are illusions of the mind. That's what I tell myself.
Could you not just create an illusion in your mind that makes you capable of doing whatever it is you need to do to fix everything?
I've tried things like that. I've set a few traps for myself, as well as a few boons. But for now, my first task is to figure out whether it is in fact me or something that resembles me that is doing this. If it is, then I shall simply leave it to Raz, you, the others.
Well, if it is a future you, then surely there's something you can do now that would lead to it being you, right? And like maybe you could put something in your magic that only you would know, only you would identify, or even only I would be able to identify. You did that thing where you made someone make you forget, right? What if you did something now that you always did every single time you did anything, any magic, anything that had you inside it, and you marked it, and then I removed that memory so you didn't know that you were doing it?
Well, I'm glad you know why you're here now. Question is, can you do that?
Why the fuck not?
Very well. Gather your power, locate the source. Cast your spell.
Well, first, you need to decide on a marker, surely, and I need to know what it is.
I did that a long time ago. One of the things that I've been pondering, how much of the thing that is Erufia is the magic. How much of it is me? How much is what others expected of me, and how much is what I want? I think if I was to achieve my ambition, I would no longer be human. And what makes us human, if not love? And so in all of my magic for several years, 6, there is a little marker that only I understand to be love. I think if there is a version of me in the future that has achieved my ambition, that has become something else, a new element or a force, how could it understand that? It couldn't. And so you need only search for the feeling, a feeling that I have for all of my friends, those that have passed, those that still remain, those that have lost. But
are you feeling
if
it
you
now?
I have shared this with no one in my life, but I will share it with you now.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind taking my hand, just so you know that it's real. She would get an image, a very clear image of Razroth.
And I would be reaching out with the same sort of magic that I was using to gather other people's emotions. I'd be reaching out to try and sense whatever is coming out of Erifir when he thinks of that image. Well, that's unexpected.
Right. Now, before we continue with this, we have to ensure that you understand what it is you're capable of. I'm thinking perhaps you said there was extremely powerful illusory magic when you were escaping your home, a castle.
I hope it was an illusion.
Well, why don't we find out? Let's go there.
Want to go there the night that it happened, or can we go to a happier time?
Well, either way, you're going to have to learn how to travel through time. It's not as simple, I don't think, as a basic summoning spell, but it's far, far simpler than the manifestation that you presented me with earlier on, so you need only bring us to that place.
You know, it should be easy enough. I've been there. I know the place like the back of my hand. I've lived there my whole life almost.
Right, well, as it was taught to me was...
So, wait, you want me to take us there? At a point in
Well,
time?
yes.
You don't want me to just make an illusion, you want us to just go there?
Yes. You were probably taught that there were specific magics attuned to you or your blood or perhaps a generational thing, but it's all poppycock. I think they do that to ensure that they can keep everybody in place. Not sure on the politics of the kingdoms. I've always been here in this tower. But you should have the ability to do just about anything you want. And I wonder if you get strong enough whether that is the thing that we can use to figure out who's doing this and why, stop them, and I hesitate to say this, or help them. It's not impossible that what we understand as death and pain around us is actually part of a much greater good. Burning a portion of the forest so that the earth can grow a fresh set of trees. Though I have the instinctual feeling that it is not.
Okay. Part of me
So-
actually wants you to be wrong, by the way.
Yes. Well,
In fact, a very big part of me. Like, most of me. About 75% of me.
I have many theories. They can't all be wrong. But it's certainly not impossible.
Let's start eliminating them, one by one then.
Yes. So,
Okay.
what you understand to be debt magic, which absolutely, if you are very sloppy, can indeed be very dangerous, though I've always been cautious. The rite of summoning is a three-part rite: conjuration, convocation, and divination. Have you ever seen something before it happened? Had a dream or a sense of deja vu that was very strong?
The night we left the keep, we all had dreams. And they seemed to be what was happening to Razaroth and Estrella. I don't know if that's the same thing though. Oh,
Yes, I would imagine that you were divining.
but we all were. Lear and Jude and myself.
Well, that is, I suppose, unless we are indeed a dream.
No, let's not add that into... That's one thing at a time. Please, I'm going to explode. Okay.
So, energy. Taking energy from one place to another. Using that for your spell. For example, snatching that fire from that very fireplace and using it for a fireball. That is what summoners do, conjuring up whatever they desire, be it energy or information, and they do so in 3 stages. Step 1 is conjuration, gathering your power. Step 2, divination, locating your source. Step 3 is convocation. It's folding space to bring the source to you. Now, as it was taught to me, more inexperienced wizards might need to put the divination step first. It makes sense because they don't know how much energy or power they need to conjure yet. However, masters begin the powering process first so that their divination is stronger and they have the option to convocate from places further away.
I mean, does it take a lot of power?
Well, I suppose it depends on what you're trying to do. I'm going to go ahead and let you figure it out for yourself. See if you can simply do as you already have been. I don't know if you're pulling from another source or something's helping you along, or whether you are simply this naturally talented. But in my experience, conjuration, divination, convocation, and we should be precisely where you need us to go.
Exactly.
It's important not to make it an illusion, and it's also important to take care when doing this. You wouldn't want to throw yourself into the sea or the sun or bring anybody from the past here. It's rather messy. It takes a little while to clean up.
Good to know. How many Asians are there? Does it end? Does everything have a name?
Well, the rites of magic are 4 in number, though. I suspect there is something else.
Okay, well. Might as well try. And I think back to a time where the keep was active, but happy. There was in the back of my mind, there's all this combat going on, there's all this fighting and stuff. I can still hear the clashing of the swords and things like that. But I think back to a month beforehand when there'd been a minor feast and we were all preparing for it, and everybody was in their bests. Everybody was just polished up, all of their best finery, their best ornate armor, and the kitchen was extremely busy. I was helping out in the kitchen even though I was supposed to be out standing to attention.
Step 1. Conjuration. Gather your power. Step 2.
And I remember exactly what I was doing. I was
Locate your source. Step 3.
running down the back steps to the kitchen
Fold space.
with an armful of a few things that I had kept, of dried herbs, things like that I had sort of guarded very closely over the months. And I imagine being back. Well, I don't imagine. I'm back there. I'm running down those steps again, and Erifir is at the bottom of the steps. Wait. This looks about right. I think this is exactly what I
This was
remember.
The night of the attack.
No. There was some sort of feast, maybe a few weeks ago. No, this was nice. This was a good time. This was, I think it was a birthday, in fact. No, I was helping in the kitchens, and I was quite late, actually. I think I was quite late. I should have been out front about 10 minutes ago, but oh well. And I walked down the staircase and poked my head around the kitchen, where I would usually be expecting to see the head baker. His name was Massimo, and Emmeline would usually be there as well, assisting. And she would be rolling the dough, and Massimo would be working in the ovens.
I blindly put my hands out around me and try and feel for where you are, or something around me.
Oh, okay, maybe, here. And I take his arm, take his elbow, and I sort of pull him slowly along with me. Just keep your left hand there on the wall.
Right. Now then, we have to figure out whether you actually brought us here, or whether you have simply created an entire new reality.
Okay, well that's horrifying to think about.
And as you were asking me in the keep, how do you suppose we figure that out?
Suppose if if I'm that good at illusions, then I would simply be fooling myself, wouldn't I, into thinking everything is as I remember it. But what if it's not? What if my memory doesn't match up to what this is? What if I rewrote my own memories? That would be horrific.
Well, that's a skill that I hope you can do quite well, since you're going to have to do it to me soon enough.
Well, at least I'd like to be able to know I'm doing it and not accidentally do it to myself. I don't know. I always imagined it would be like a dream, I suppose. You know, when you're in a dream and everything is not quite right. Like you think you can fly, but actually you never seem to leave the ground. I wonder if it would be the same in an illusion.
I suppose rewriting your own memories is one thing, but not those of the others. I shall wait here. I would imagine that Jude or Lear is around. Go and find them. Do something absurd. And then when you meet up with them again in the future, ask them what you did. If Lear remembers it, then I suppose we're here. If Lear doesn't, then this wasn't real.
Would that work though? What if we create a new reality in the future where it's the Lear from here?
Vega!
Well, we're gonna have to set some
Vega!
lodestones along the way, aren't we?
Where is she?
Okay, you stay here. Stay here. Just touch that wall. Don't go anywhere. Don't go wandering, and definitely don't talk to anybody. And I will walk out, sort of shuffle through the kitchen where there's a hustle bustle of people. It's extremely warm, and kind of like take everything in, and then run out to the square outside where I know Lear will be in his finery, waiting for us to take formation.
Where is she? Oh, Vega! There you are, you're late. About 10 minutes about.
Something like that, yeah. I was helping in the kitchen. In fact, we don't need to be here. We should leave. I think I've heard there's something going on in the market today.
Leave?
Yeah.
Do you know whose birthday this is?
It's only Thomas's.
Well,
you wouldn't even notice we're gone.
it's fair enough. Okay, lead the way.
Okay.
Quietly, though. We can't be seen.
Right. And Jude should stay here.
Of course, yes. Look at her. At attention. It's a birthday party, Jude.
Always so formal. Right. Well, I've heard there was a rumor that one of the trees in the courtyard of the market was bearing fruit, and everybody was standing around it because, it was dead. There's nothing bears fruit anymore.
Right.
It's a miracle.
Right, especially.
Right.
Oh.
And it was an orange, and I know how much you love oranges. So yeah, we should come on. And I
lead the way. Whoa.
And I pull Lear out of sort of towards the side gates, as if to leave the keep. Are you sure you want to leave? Are you sure?
You can't change your mind now, Vega. Come on.
You'll get into trouble. We both will. Right.
Look, of course I do. Let's go.
Stay here. 1 second. I'll be right back. Just
okay.
hide in the bush. Hide in the bush. There, quick. No one will see
The
you.
bush!
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay.
That's the last place they'll expect you to be.
All right.
Okay.
Vega, you and your tricks, I swear.
Okay. And then I run back to the kitchen to find Erifir. I found Lear. He's waiting by the gate. I told him we would leave to go to the market. Now, if we do go to the market, then perhaps that's something he will remember, because that's absurd. For starters, we're leaving Jude behind, and we would... that's not something that we would normally do. But also, it's quite the event.
Lear ever mentioned this to you before? That night? At the party when he went to the market with you?
No. And I don't... don't think he would go either way, because I would never ask him to.
The wall that I'm leaning against. What color is it?
Sort of an off-green, creamy white sort of color.
I would ask you what color it was when you left.
Same walls I've always known. They've always been like this.
Yes. Close your eyes.
I take his arm to make sure he can't go anywhere, and then I close my eyes.
Open them again. The wall is a different color. It's like a deep green color.
Okay, that is not how I remember it. Did you do that?
Yes, and it was far too easy.
Shit. Okay. How? How did you know? Was there something?
You didn't bring this wine from the keep, did you?
No. No.
Neither did I. Because we're still there.
So I just created an illusion.
Well, it's better than creating an entire new reality for us to have to worry about.
What would happen if I did create a whole new reality? What would you? Would it just exist there forever? Would I? It's like having a child. I don't want a child.
Well, one of my theories is in fact that... Well... I suppose it doesn't matter. Can you drop this illusion now?
Maybe. And I suppose I just... There's a part of me that I think feels a sense of effort from creating this illusion. Like there's a tiny part of that, like a tingle on the palm of your hand, that kind of thing, like a slight buzz that covers your skin. And I kind of let that go with a deep breath. And I assume we're back in the keep.
Well, it was a good effort.
I must be doing it wrong. Maybe I do need to remember some of the lessons Jude taught me. Maybe I do need to remember.
No. Forget all of that. Hogwash.
It's discipline.
If it were discipline, then I would be far, far better than you at all of this, and frankly, I'm not.
Well, maybe it's just because you don't believe in yourself. Do you
I
think
believe
you're
in
good?
myself. Yes, I'm fantastic at this.
Then that's all I do. I just believe I can do it.
Right. Well, so do I. Watch. I'd take us there. I don't even make any show of it. I don't make it look like a struggle. I make it as effortless as I can to just take us back. And how long ago was it that night in game time? I know there's some wobbly stuff.
I said about a
1
month
week.
ago, I think, or a week, something.
A week? Yeah. We go back to well, since I'm divining it, I would take us back to 5 minutes before. When was the attack? Were you like in bed, or was it daytime, or what was it? It was nighttime, right?
We were asleep, yeah.
So I'm taking us 5 minutes. And where do you sleep? Where is your room?
We have some quarters up in one of the towers, the southeastern tower.
Up. Okay. So I'll just take us to outside of your room in the hallway, middle of the night, utter and complete darkness. Shh. last thing you want is for you to see you.
What would happen then?
Well then, you would see you and you would know something was up, although in about 5 minutes from now you're really going to think something is up. And I'm very curious about this illusion, this situation that happened here. What did happen here?
We all had a dream that something awful was happening. Some creature was attacking some people, and we all awoke at the same time. And when we did, there was just fighting, just the clashing of swords outside, and screaming and shouting, and the air was hot and smoky, and we all ran to each other at the same time, gathered our things.
Right. Well, the illusion that you created of the night, you're going to have to do something like that for us, and quickly. You can't look like you, and I can't look like me, so if you don't mind.
Okay. I make us look like that night I saw a couple of people scurrying past one of the bedmaids, and I think somebody I knew, perhaps even her father, was scurrying down the hallway away from where the fighting was. They weren't armed, and I make us look like them. Yes, you were, yeah, bread maker.
I don't feel any different.
Would you feel any different, really?
It depends whether you absolutely transform me into something else or whether you simply create a small illusion for others.
Well, if I transformed you into something else, then if I couldn't transform you back, then we'd be fucked, wouldn't we? Because you wouldn't be able to do any magic.
Right, well, in a couple of minutes here, there should be some fighting. Let's see if we can't figure out whether it was an illusion, whether one of you was seeing something different to the others, or whether you all were, or whether we're all simply mad.
What if me here created the illusions that I saw back then?
Why would you do that?
Because it's fucking absurd. It made me question everything.
Quite useful, isn't it?
I wouldn't be here right now. Probably if that hadn't happened.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, we left our quarters and we ran down those stairs. You can't see them. I don't know why I'm pointing. Can you see now?
No.
Fuck. Okay, well...
I shall put my hand on your shoulder.
Yes, just hold this.
Right.
And we ran down the staircase, and there were three knights in front of us. People I thought I knew. They seemed very much like the people I knew. And we ran down the stairs, and we had to use lethal force to get past them.
Okay,
and,
so, well...
And Lear took an injury.
Okay. Let's scurry off ahead then and get you a good vantage point so you can see what you do and to who and whether it looks the same.
And I guide him towards a spot on sort of the outdoor parapet where you can see in towards the tower where we fought. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what time it was, to be honest. It was quite a blur. But we all ran out together, armed, and there were... Who was it? He was my instructor, my swords instructor. He He was the first person I saw. He was in the front.
Okay. What do you see then?
I can see them. They're at the bottom of the staircase now. They're running up, which means we should be leaving any second now, because we met them halfway. There we are. We're leaving. Look, well, sorry, insensitive. We are leaving. You can hear. And I sort of duck down a little bit. Right, and there he is. There's the sword instructor. But he's not, is he? They look different. They look as Jude described them, actually, right now.
So Jude is able to see through your illusions.
Perhaps
That could
because
be
I
useful.
made that so. Because if I changed them now to look the way that I thought they looked, then I do it only to myself, because otherwise Jude would confirm what I thought, and then I would never have questioned it, because I wouldn't question Jude. So I have to make an illusion that only I would see. And in that
does
moment,
make things easier.
I change the look of the knights to exactly how I remember them. And they are, and when I say exactly how I remember them, I mean it, because when I remember that night as I ran down the staircase, it's like I couldn't quite see them properly, and I was looking at the small details, the crinkle of their eyes, the beard underneath the helmet, and I make them in this image in the same way, where it's a little bit hard to believe, and she has to take a moment to question it in her past self. So the first person is the sword instructor, and the two people behind are his two sons. Right, there they are. They're going to meet any second now. There, look, that's Jude telling them to stand down. You can hear her. She's saying, "Stand down. We don't want to hurt you." And I look, I believe it. I'm hesitating. That's how Lear got hurt. I was hesitating.
Right.
Oh. God.
Where did they go next? You.
The sword instructor, he stabbed Lear. Look, he's reaching for a sword right now. And I'm begging him not to, but he slipped past both Jude and I, and he's lunging.
I lunge at Lear. Aim for stump.
Oh, God. God, this made me question everything. Which is perfect, I suppose, isn't it? And then we took him out. I can't remember what we did. I think I severed his Achilles tendon or something like that. Yes, right. And I make effort to make the sons behind him look incredibly upset about the fact that their father has just been hurt.
Father!
Father, no!
You'll pay for this, you whore sons.
Right, and then we tried to push past them, but they stood in our way.
If it's a fight you want, you'll get one.
You'll pay for what you did.
But Jude was just seeing something so different. She was seeing a scrappy fight, I suppose. Something a bit different. That doesn't matter, because what I can see, what I remember is they yelled something at me. What did they say? They called me something that they would never call me. It was awful.
I will be the end of you, you bitch.
And the second one, he did a maneuver I'd never seen any of the regular knights training in the yard do before. He maneuvered in such a way that was almost like it had been enhanced magically, like it was something that Jude or I would do.
This is for father!
And then
You disgusting little wench!
and then we killed them both.
Boys.
And then we carried on down the staircase. And tried not to look behind us.
The illusion, did you apply it to yourself, or do we have to follow all the way?
No, we have to follow, I think. I don't recall exactly where I found Emmeline.
All right.
I need to...
Lead on.
And I grab his hand and I'm pulling him as we rush down the front steps to the kitchen, where I remember that ourselves in the past took the back steps. Okay. Right. There are 3 people in here right now. But 2 of them left. They rushed past the front door, I remember now. And it was just Emmeline left. She was standing near the oven.
What's that noise?
And I ran. Look, I'm there. I ran in, and Emmeline was holding something. It was a pitchfork or something like that. And this figure, Emmeline, in front of me, is suddenly holding a weapon and brandishing it forward in front of her in a threatening way, where she wasn't a second ago.
Oh, look at you. Don't you look fucking strong?
Oh, God.
Picking on the weak, are you? Fucking pathetic, just like I knew you always was.
And I closed my eyes, and this time I couldn't hesitate, and I grabbed her by her hair, and I put my dagger to her throat, and I slit her throat right there. And I pushed her aside, and we pushed forward.
You call me the monster.
God, that was realistic. And then we left, we went towards the cliffside, and I think that was it. I think that was all the people I saw. We ran, and we took stock of
What caused
ourselves.
this attack?
I don't know. It didn't make sense to us. It still doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why they turned on us. It was the same night as they tried to assassinate. Yeah, right. But what did cause the attack? Why are they doing this?
You think perhaps they were after Lear? Is he not?
But they weren't people I knew, were they? I need to stop thinking like that, because I have just made that. That is something I did. They weren't the people we knew. They were different, like outsiders. People who'd come into the keep. They weren't the people of the keep. They weren't my friends. There were other people. So something spurred them to attack.
Well, okay. Did I bring your weapons with you to the keep?
No. I have the staff that you made.
Oh, that's going to be very useful.
That's my sword. And...
There they are! 2 more of them! Right over there! Come on, you lot!
Why are they looking at us?
All right.
Erifir, why are they looking at us?
Well, I assume because they want to kill us.
Why? Take us out!
Men!
I think
Circle
perhaps
around
we
them.
should,
Take them down.
You've got it.
I think
Give them
perhaps
the
we
boy.
should,
I'll take this one.
For the
I
king!
think perhaps we should deal with them. This will be much more difficult for me without my eyes, so I shall stand behind you here, and we'll put your new skills to the test.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Fuck. Okay, right. They're running at us. There's 3 in front. There's 2 behind. You've got 2 coming at you right now. They have brandishing swords. You need to do something. Stop them.
Get the
And I'll deal with the 3 in front.
wine.
Charlie, one of these, love.
Okay.
Bring me her gizzards, lassie.
And I try and... I don't want to use lethal force because I want to figure out what's happening here. So instead, I would like to encase their legs in ice. The 3 people I see in front of me, I'd like to just simply stop them from moving. Their limbs, their hands and feet just completely iced up. Right, I just want to stop them. I don't want to kill them. I need to figure out what's happening here. I don't want to kill somebody, and if I don't know who I'm killing or why.
Go ahead and
I'd
roll.
prefer it if you would do the same.
Okay, well, as if it wasn't difficult enough for me.
Get her while her hands are up.
Just okay. 10 feet in front of you. I need something to stop them. Make a pit or something, or a wall of ice. I don't know.
Sweet time.
I attempt to open up the ground 10 feet in front of me, that I just kind of gauge where 10 feet in front of me is.
And how do you do that? You're just guessing.
Take it away. I remove a decent section of the ground, like a 20-foot cubed square.
Do you
and
think you can appropriately gauge 10 feet in front of you right now?
I'm gonna say no because I'm pretty drunk, and blind. So I'm gonna say no unless I roll extremely well.
Should we do a 1d50 and that'll determine how far away it is from you? Does that sound fair?
37 feet away. And all I do, I pick it up, or I attempt to move the now this is very simple for me in terms of the spell that I'm doing, because I'm just picking up a section of earth and moving it, like I'm just making it appear 20 feet away, just over there. Like, it doesn't really matter to me where it appears nearby, but I will roll. I don't know if I have a shift for that part. This is just summoning.
We'll have them on the pile with the rest of them.
Plus 10 shift you may have. Oof. So what happens?
I take nowhere near enough, and it doesn't go anywhere I need it to go. It's just like a rip in the earth that they could probably move around. The earth churns up under them as if there's something underground. But it's not enough of it, and it doesn't it kind of just goes everywhere. It probably goes all over me and Vega and all over them to a degree, but it's just, the spell itself is not great. It's just, okay, first of all, it's going to be a lot easier for me to just immolate everything around us. So how about that?
Do not do that. No. Last resort, okay? Especially if you're drunk and blind and you don't even know where I am. Fucking hell.
Yes, also, I should probably have let you know that every so often my magic has been a little wobbly.
Could you not have told me that before?
Well, I was actually quite sure that we wouldn't end up where we are, so I was quite happy with that.
Well, let something still surprise you.
It could just be... Well, I suppose it's on you then, Vega. Good luck.
Just like the coaster floored their spells at us. Tricks and all.
Seems like the tricks won't get them very far then.
And I assume my spell also did not work, and they are not encased in ice as I hoped they'd be. And in fact, probably just slid on a small patch of ice and probably brought them towards us even faster.
With 62, you would be correct in that assumption.
Are you casting a spell?
I'm trying!
Right. Well, you're very, very good at illusion. Why not make them think that we're 10 feet to the left? That always worked for me in the past.
Okay, right, sure, I suppose.
You'll know if it's worked because they'll start swinging swords over there. I just kind of point, like, I'm probably pointing, like,
I think you smack me,
like
in fact, in the side of the head or something like that.
Oh.
Okay, no flagrant gestures, just stay still.
Very well.
And move away from him slightly. I've got like one hand on the back of his shirt, and the other hand just kind of like doing nothing really in front of me. Just
fetch
sort of.
me your hands.
Our hands up.
You, well, leave my hands alone. I need those.
I charged forwards past all the dirt and all the ice and all that. And I jump up in the air for an arcing cleave with my glaive. Right at the short one.
You may roll to dodge, so they are not going to be rolling to attack you. They get to do whatever they want. You have to defend yourself.
Failure.
So what do you think happens? The two of you collaborate on what happens.
Not to throw Aerofir under the bus or anything, but I'd like to think he probably has decent senses, so he can tell there's an attack coming towards him, and he would step backwards and perhaps into me or onto my foot in a way that makes us both stumble slowly.
Oops.
No.
I'm assuming he hits you with an 83. That's a pretty big failure. So where does he strike you? And what are you using? What weapon is being used against her?
I'm using a glaive.
Right.
It's a long pole with a little crescent blade on it. I'm going down and I'm striking the bearded one, the shorter one, right in his face. I want his hands, but we'll see what happens.
You are the shorter one. I also thought it was Vega. Whoops.
No, I'm projecting.
Do I get to roll dodge then?
Yes, you do. What are these rolls? Okay.
I still step on her foot, but it just causes me to stumble forward, and then he what did you say you were doing?
He's
An
bringing the
arcing
glaive
strike
down.
This I think this would just simply just like run down my shoulder, down my chest, open up a horrible wound. I would stumble backwards. Oh my! Ow! Oh wow! Okay.
Oh. Oh my god.
I missed. I was aiming for your wrists.
Can I try and grab out at him since he's that close?
Yeah, you'll have to wait your turn. But
That's
yes,
what I'm doing.
So hold,
but yeah, sure.
that's what you will
I'm
be
grabbing
doing.
wildly outwards at some around me then.
Yeah. Next step.
But I'm also bleeding, and I have a just horrendous wound opened up along my chest. This wonderful thing that I'm wearing, the tunic, is all opened up.
Oopsie.
See, your problem is you're slashing. I'm going for smashing, and I come in with, unlike my friend who has a glaive, I have a shovel, not quite a weapon, but can be used as one, and I'm going for the currently injured short one as well, trying to smash those hands.
We'll use that shovel later to make their grave.
All right, so that means your fear will roll to defend. They're going straight for you.
Another failure.
But this one's not so bad. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, this is horrific. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
You're using physical dodge? Can I ask why you're physically dodging instead of using magic?
Because I'm drunk and I don't know what's going on, and
Okay.
I'll write to you why.
Okay, yeah, that's totally fine. I just
And
want to
it's
make sure it wasn't a
just-
mistake.
If he's been stumbling on his feet, he's also not floating. He's actually touching the ground.
I am walking around. I've been walking around the whole time. So this was what? This was a
Smashing.
smash. Connects with the side of my head.
No!
Crushes my temple in. My eyes roll up into the back of my head, and I'm flung across the room. Absolutely destroyed my cranium and my skull, and was a killing blow.
Think that I dealt with that one. Who's next?
I think the lassie's up next.
That I am, darling. That I am. You got some pretty hands there, darling. Well, I fucking take them from you.
Looking pretty
Can I take-
handsome if you ask me.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a hand axe from my waist belt. I'm gonna throw it directly to Vega's hand and try to sever it.
Roll the dodge. Oh, what is going on? All right, what do you think happens, Vega?
I think I'd try and block it with the staff, and I think what would happen is it would maybe take a couple fingers off my 2 fingers and then bury itself in the staff itself, so it's just stuck in the end of my staff.
Okay.
At least you get to keep it. That's touching, isn't it?
Whole hand sell better.
You guys are having all the fun. Let's see if your magic can stop this one. And I draw an arrow from my sheath and fire it right at Vega.
Roll to dodge.
Finally.
Woo! 24 success. All right, what happens?
This hatchet, I think you said, is inside the staff, and I think I just block the arrows. I kind of just bat them away as they're coming towards me. In fact, shear them in half as they come near me. Stay away! I don't want to kill you!
If you stop struggling, this would go a lot easier.
Yeah, much better.
What?
Very good.
I definitely caved his head in.
Who definitely caved his head in?
Very, very
caved
much
his head.
did.
Stop the mage.
Pretty sure we've seen it.
Stop the mage!
What do I see?
I look completely fine. There's blood running down the side of my face, but the wound is gone. The wound on my chest is still there. What?
It's an illusion.
Right. Oh no, not at all. I'll explain it in a minute. Don't we have bigger fish to fry here?
And I create an illusion in all of the combatants' minds that they're actually underwater right now. They are 20 foot underwater. Please. 13.
Next time, double to.
Fuck! And I grab the arrow spear and I drag him away
That's a
from
good one. That's very,
everyone.
That was very good. That was very, very good.
Non-lethal! Non-lethal! Non-lethal!
That looks pretty lethal to me. They're joking. They think it's real. It's too good. Too good. Like I've told you, you're very, very talented. Actually, I really.
And I try and what I'd like to do is wait until they pass out and then stop the illusion. But because I think I'm panicking and I don't know exactly how to do this without killing them at this point because I'm terrified.
Yeah, let's have you roll for it actually, because the point of them passing out, I imagine their lungs are full.
Yeah. 17.
17. So how do you do this?
As I see them grasping their throats, I think just as I see their eyes roll up into the back of their heads, at that exact point, I'd like to stop. And instead of being underwater, it's just complete nothingness around them, just lost in an abyss. But they're most likely, I'm not sure if they would be passed out. I imagine a couple of them would be just entirely passed out at that point.
How
but
many?
at least a couple of them. 2 of them would be passed out.
All right.
And the others would be lost in nothing in their own minds. Can you fix this? My fingers!
What?
And I think if you'd look at her hand, her 2 end fingers would just be...
You can't see.
How bad is
I don't
my,
think-
ow.
I'm forgetting. My fingers are gone. They cut off my fingers.
Gone.
Gone!
Oh, that's
I
not
can see
good.
them on the ground over there.
Well, perhaps, well, that's a good lesson, I suppose, isn't it? Though I do find that illusions, many illusionists have a very, very difficult time healing themselves, you know. It's
I don't do
incredibly
healing.
difficult to remember that pain
not a
is just
healer.
an illusion. You understand? Actually, you can kind of get your head around it. I know that there's something wrong with me right now, isn't there? How bad is it?
There are many things wrong with you right now. And I sort of pull apart his doubloon and check his injury, but I'm not a healer and I'm not good at dealing with any sort of injuries or anything. I am sort of useless when it comes to saving people like that. I can't fix this. You have a gash across your chest. It's huge.
Of course you can fix it.
I can make you think it's fixed. I can make all of us think it's fixed, but would it really be fixed?
Yes.
I look at my hand and I test it on myself first, where I want my fingers to be back. 94.
What are you doing? That was nowhere near me.
I didn't want to do something that would make things worse. So I tried it on myself first, and it didn't seem to work.
No, it's too difficult. You've lost fingers. It smarts, doesn't it? No, it's not as simple as that.
It really fucking hurts.
Yes, try to remove the pain first. The pain. The pain's going to keep you too distracted to be able to actually believe that you've managed to return your fingers.
Okay.
Alternatively, your fingers are where now?
Over here. And I...
Oh, there you go. Just go and just put them back.
I run and grab the fingers that are just on the ground.
Run before
covered
you can
in
crawl.
Dust and grime. Okay, well...
There's a couple of ways you can do this.
Okay.
I suppose there was a time actually that I lost an entire hand. Well, at that time I pulled from when I did have my hand attached to my wrist. Look.
Right. Okay, but
right?
How do you know that wasn't a
Alternatively, you could just simply summon them up onto your hand. How would you do it? No point trying to learn my handwriting, is there? You've got your own.
I would just feel them there. And I would take that feeling of pain that I have and I would stuff it in the locker and try and put it deep down inside, the same way I always have. And just... everything is as it was. Everything is okay. Partial success. I think they look normal again, but I think perhaps they don't have any feeling in them. Like they're functional. There's blood all over my hand and I can move them, but I can't feel anything there now.
Did you do it?
I have them back, but I don't think I can feel anything in them.
Oh, really? Oh, why?
But they're there.
Good.
And they don't either look the same. That's... Fuck
All
it,
right,
that's good enough.
Do me now.
Okay. But I can't... I suppose it's not putting anything back. You haven't lost anything. I need to just put it back together.
Right,
So
just knit the skin back together.
Right, it's just knitting, it's stitching. I do cross stitch. This is the same thing, but it's magic cross stitch. Magical cross stitch.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Magical cross stitch. Will do.
Do I get a shift for this? A 1.
Nice.
Okay, wait, no, it looks fine, which is good, but does it feel fine because this doesn't feel right, but maybe yours is fine. And I kind of tap him on the chest where he was hurt, on where a scar would be, where I assume there's nothing now.
Perfectly clean.
Do you feel that? Does it feel normal?
Yeah, what did you do? What did you do?
I did what you told me to do. I did a magical cross stitch. I put it all back together.
I think you did more than that. That's very interesting. You're on a roll today. You know what you should do is the, Oh, you're probably not going to like that.
What? Just say it.
How's my face? It's not all skew-if, is it?
I mean, define skew-if. It looks... I mean, you're bleeding a bit, but it looks pretty much the same.
A long time ago, have you ever been to Hag's Hollow?
No.
There's a little prison there. They put all the very worst of the worst of the worst in there, you know, child killers and...
I've heard of it.
Oh, yes. Well, those horrible, horrible people over there. I paid them a visit once, and I suppose you'd call it an enchantment of sorts. I was only able to do it 7 times, and you should do this perhaps while you can, or at some point in the future. I've found it to be very useful. When I'm, for want of a better word, killed, I was able to set up something a little switch for just a fraction of a moment. I'm able to put myself in the cell where said convict is.
You change places with him, or you are the convict?
Yes, practically like that, yes, pretty much. But there is now a convict in Hag's Hollow with his head all skew-if.
Well, that's, I suppose, the most moral way of doing that.
Oh, I've done far worse.
Yeah,
I'm actually working on something that I'll tell you another day. But perhaps you might want to try something like that. I wonder if you can beat my high score. 7 tries. I think I've got 5 left. Running out rather quickly. I was
you
kind
have
of hoping
7
it would last.
body doubles.
Yeah, 7 enchantments. On 7 of the very worst, and I'm not talking about from last week, we're talking all-time worst of the very worst.
I don't think I've been to a place like that. I haven't met anyone.
Oh, you
so
must
terrible.
go, yes. Fine. Just don't take the same ones as me. Go to the women's quarters or something.
A holiday destination, is it?
Right. So perhaps we head back then.
Yeah. So
One more things I want you to learn, and then maybe we'll send you on your way.
This happened, right? This happened.
Oh yes, very much so. Yes.
So if I left something here now, when I came back, it might still be here.
Yep, that's if you don't create some sort of terrifying butterfly effect for leaving something, but I mean, I've done it several times, I'm sure.
Create the exact same hummingbird wooden carving, and I go to the kitchens and I hide it underneath a cupboard that I know no one ever checks under.
What? What are you doing?
I was going to leave this here under the cupboard to find later, but there's one here already.
Oh. Shit.
What does that mean? We've done this before? We've been here before?
So who wants to go first?
That was so fun. That was like a proper weird like psychic episode of like, hey, let's drag you along and have an adventure. It was really weird and great.
It was super good.
It was good
I was a little concerned that the audience wouldn't understand, but within like 30 seconds, peeps were like, oh my God, they're the NPCs. I totally get it. So yeah, very, very, very cool. You guys killed it.
That was.
So sorry to everybody who just sat there for the entire episode. It's weird.
I loved it. I love watching.
We signed up for this. Don't be sorry.
Yes,
And Brad's going to be doing this for the next, 20 episodes? So.
yeah. We haven't been in it for 2 weeks or whatever. Or 3 or something, yeah. Which is all good. I love it.
There is balance.
I don't mind sitting here just watching, you know? Like, it's a weird experience. I was messaging Johnny last week when Johnny was... when you were waiting to go up and find him or whatever, and I was messaging him like, how weird is it to be like on the call but watching? It's kind of a weird experience, but I like it. It's fun.
Why don't you go first then, Brad? You volunteer.
Okay. Yeah, this is it's so difficult to try and teach someone magic, and also like it's the weirdest thing how like you get like a taste of what it's been like to kind of play Eruthyr for the last little bit. Like you were like going back and just like, you're the reason that you in the first episode are so confused and everything like that. But then that's also the reason that I pulled Jude's heart out. I was like, I need them to see me as a villain. You know, they need to stop calling upon me. I need them to like to think the way that I think and be afraid of me. So like I was like, that's why I was like, I've got to do this crazy thing. And you were like, fuck you, man. And then literally we went back in time and you were like, I'm gonna make myself fucking so confused and horrified so that it leads me down this particular path. So it's cool, man. Like, and that's like this weird thing where you can't trust anything ever again now. You have to just play the rest of this campaign not being able to trust a fucking thing that's happening around you, which is just how I've been doing the whole thing. I'm like, I don't know if I should say that, or maybe I should not do this. Maybe I should do this. I'll go drunk. I'm going to get drunk and go blind. Literally blind drunk. And like just weird shit like that to try and, counter, predict whatever the fuck is going on. I don't know. It's really weird. But really fun. So it's kind of fun having another person almost on the other side of that a little bit with Vega, and sort of trying to teach her stuff. But the way that you're learning how I learn stuff is also different. So it's kind of strange to have to teach you things. And I don't know, man. It's fun. It's also fun to try and get in quotes and shit. And like, there's now like fucking timelines and shit that we're bouncing up and down on and creating stuff that's happened, and you have to think around that, right? So it's like, it's so weird to have to role play around some of those things. Super fun. Really enjoy it. Unbelievably difficult to like, you have to manually keep your brain on the whole time, kinda, which is fun, but also like, man, am I scared of fucking shit up all the time. Like, I'm so scared that I'm just going to be like, yeah, I did this one thing, and PB's like, and you've undone the weave of time and ruined my entire campaign. And I'm so scared of like stuff like that. It was super cool, and really enjoyed this episode. And looking forward to seeing whatever the fuck happens next time. I believe there were some other cast members in this one, but
a couple.
But
pass it off, bitch.
It only me and Lear mattered in this one. So you can come to my channel where I'm doing the same boss on Sekiro over and over and over and over again if you enjoy watching that for some reason. Otherwise, go and follow Lear, the star of the episode, the learner mage.
I think whatever the hell is pulling the strings is the star of the episode. Actually, it's really fun though, because there's like so many things where you like your brain makes a connection and you're like, oh, I wonder if I should reference this or if it's gonna, like Brad said, entirely fuck up a weird timeline. And you're like, this would make sense to me if I kind of like was the reason for my own suspicion and stuff.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Cool
that
as
was
shit.
incredible.
So fun.
It was so good. You just came in and were like, I wouldn't leave if I didn't have this doubt, which was kind of my hope, but you never know how you're going to interpret it, right? Well, that's
because like
cool.
with Lear, I could have just been like, oh yeah, Lear would totally trust me and leave with me. But I was just trying to like, I'll leave a couple of breadcrumbs with like, he wouldn't leave Jude. Like we wouldn't just go anywhere without Jude. That would be insane. The fact that he just came with me.
And
I was like,
what was interesting about that too is you rolled for that and you failed and you interpreted that yourself. You were like, okay, it must be an illusion then because I failed my roll, and I didn't need to say anything. She just interpreted it. It was wonderful, fucking excellent.
Be your own butterfly effect.
the hummingbird effect.
Right.
Mine over here. Which is terrifying. But yeah, always really, really
That's
fun.
the
doing these
episode title,
episodes.
by the way, the Hummingbird Effect.
There are so many good titles for this episode.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah, there was a
You had
bunch
so
of
many
them.
good one-liners.
I know that
anyway.
the description will include Vega does cross stitch. That will be in there at some point.
Magical cross stitch.
Yep.
That's so good. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm Leah. I'll be streaming some RP later tonight. And on my other channel, Sprite Leah. But you can find me on my main channel doing all sorts of bits of things. I'm playing Stray at the moment, which is delightful.
It's so good.
Yeah, no spoilers for anybody, but so good. But yeah, sorry to everybody for just sitting around. Johnny.
First of all, do not apologize because that was awesome. Today's episode's like really up there for me. Like they're all really good, so they're hard to judge. But like today had so many cool little elements. I'm over here like scribbling down on my notepad. I'm like, oh my god, so this is my fan theory on this, and this is my fan theory on this, and one of them came true today, and I'm like, ah! I'm like, so like I literally typed it immediately as soon as I found it. I was like, yes, we got Blackbird lore today, which I was like, finally. It felt so good to just get that experience. I was really hyped. Hi, I'm Johnny Blams. I played Son number 2 and Junkrat Bow Guy today. If you like cowboy stuff, you can follow me on my channel. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Something that I really love about this cast and the show is if you watch closely or if you just kind of observe as a viewer or as part of the cast, it's kind of like you get your own masterclass in how to be a better role player. Like, I'm going to be nice for like 20 seconds. Leah and Faye just always bring this energy that's like, oh my God. Like when Faye came into that scene and she's like, I'm like, oh, I was like, Jesus. And it was so good. And Brad just always plays these characters that like you want to read a comic about. And like, if he could make one subpart character, that'd be really cool.
So cool.
Yeah. And Drac just always like has these lines. His diction is really good and makes me feel really differentiated about his characters. And I love it. And Meyer's just like too quick. That's one thing that like, I don't think you can learn. Meyer just has this quickness about him that like, he can just be like, got it, and it's awesome. And I know PB in nice words, but PB has just been like absolutely murdering the production quality of this show. And from that, I'm gonna pass it on over to Meyer.
Hi, my name is Meyer. I played Son number 1 and the bandit leader today, and I also I do apologize for like getting the other bandits into like this whole like hand hunger thing, you know, like I was just like these guys are like they're magicians, right? What do we do?
Cut their hands off, right? That's
But it was a lot of fun. It was so cool. Like having this focus episode of you know, of Erifir and Vega. Like sitting back here, like watching PB basically do like, you know, NASA mission control, like yes, yeah, every single like other second. It was amazing. It was great. I love it. Like this has been a really, really cool journey with these really amazing people. And I look forward to seeing what happens next. I mean, like, what's gonna happen next week? I mean, are we gonna continue with this? Are we gonna like swap over? But yeah, like it's been real. Also, I think that we also have to something happened last week. I forget what exactly, but we kind of have to resolve that somehow as well, don't we?
Yeah. I wonder what that was.
In the corner of my mind.
Preparing her bucket of tears again.
Oh. Drax said this in the chat, and we'll pass it to you right after this, but it is canon, just so you all know, that the critical ones happened at the exact same time in the timeline, because that's
dude, PB,
fucking
I'm so
awesome.
annoyed that you said this to me now and didn't message it because I was going to react.
What?
I was going to do it like I felt a disturbance in the force moment.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, I better not, just in case.
Yeah,
That's
no,
exactly what I'm talking about, where I'm like, I don't want to undo the show
No,
too much.
it's so fucking good. It's
Damn,
so good.
man, I'm
It was
so
so
annoyed
good.
now.
Well, you felt a
That's all I'm
disturbance
going to
in the
think about
force.
all week. Johnny, do you remember
Yeah.
the Mauser? That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel right now, dude. The Mauser, dude. If you don't know what that means, I'm sorry, I'm not explaining it. It's just
It's fine. It's fine. Drag, you're up.
Forgot I lost the game.
Hi, I'm Drac for Draconics. You can find me on Twitter at Draconics. That's DRAKONIQUES. Today I played the Father and the Shovel Knight. Is what I'm. No, today was incredible. I'll be entirely honest. I said it in the Discord as well. I think today was the most nervous I've ever been. That's including the premiere night. I was like, I have a character at the very least. I know what I'm coming into. Father and Shovel Knight was a surprise to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to like feed you information about what you might be doing or something, but I was like, I don't want to like push you too much.
It was kind of useful as shit being blind, by the way. So you had to describe everything. Like, that wasn't like some stroke of genius by me. I was just like, wow, that's lucky. It was like really useful.
I'm sitting here like, God damn, that was a brilliant move. Like, you did it so that she would have to describe everything to all of us. Like, fucking so good. No, Brad's over here just intuiting the world like he always does. And then he's like, I'm not that smart. Yes, you are. You just aren't conscious of what you're doing.
It would be useful when me and her were sitting and talking for her to describe things like that. And if we were to do this kind of thing, I wasn't sure exactly what we were going to do today, so I didn't know. But I did think it would be kind of useful, but like I didn't expect it to be the most useful thing ever, to have her be able to explain for us, to me, what I'm seeing, which just works as such a layer of meta to explain what's going on for everyone else.
For everybody else, yeah.
It's so cool. Sorry, Shovel Knight.
But yeah, you can find me on Twitter, I stream all over the place. I think the only thing I will shout out is that I'm going to be at Gen Con from August 3rd to I think August 8th. I'm going to be there for the whole thing. So if you want to hang out, hit me up. I'm always down to hang out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That Nat 1 took me out. That was incredible.
It was good that we had all those bad rolls. And then we had a good
the whole fucking show except 2 back to back at the like when we're going back in time and doing
insane.
Like what? I'm sorry, who's next? I
didn't even throw anything.
Faye.
Hello, my name's Phelan. I played Emmeline, and I played a hand axe lady who chopped off Vega's fingers today. So now I have a piece of Leah wherever I go. So
I've got those fingers. No, I'm not.
I guess the thing you need to know.
I don't even know why.
No, gotta
If you ever give us direction, if you give us like, hey, just play a character, we're gonna play characters obsessed with your hands. I think it's like what?
Yeah, what is up with that?
What is with the hands?
I don't know. They're magicians, right? They do things with their hands. So I was like, I need them. Maybe we can sell them or something. I don't know.
Oh God. I'm also on Table Story on Mondays now for 100 Club, which was amazing.
Yeah, so
the premiere
good.
was so good.
Club, dude.
I literally just had to sit there and let everyone else do everything amazing, and I just went, so it was really good. And then on Fridays, which we're going to be ending soon, Rime of the Frost Maiden, so either be square. I think this week's supposed to be the finale or next week.
Depends on what you guys do, I think, right?
Yeah. And with that, you could follow me as Phelan on Twitch and Twitter. I play video games and stuff. That's me.
Oh, that's me. Okay. Hi, I'm Pumpkinberry, and normally I would just immediately end the stream right now, but I do want to shout out the cast because I worry about stuff like this sometimes where I'm like, oh man, it's mostly going to be these 2 players and everybody else might be sitting around doing, nothing or just waiting for like kind of one scene. And eventually I just had to be like, well, I think these guys care about telling a story as much as I do. So we'll see, and trust fall, and they fucking killed it. And it was amazing. And it was just, it was absolutely fucking incredible. And I'm so proud of y'all, and yes, and I hope I wasn't too distracting because I had my cam on the whole time, which I normally don't, but I did this time. And then I can't remember why I did that. Oh, so I could signal to you guys. But anyway.
Which was really helpful.
Mission control is so good.
Mission control.
Yeah, it was really helpful.
So yeah, other than that, thank you so much. If you missed the new show, 100 Club, you can check it out on YouTube or in the VODs. Please check it out because it was amazing. And then other than that, rate and review the podcast, and we'll see you next week, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
bye.
Right.
Finger guns. And if it's an illusion and it causes the same distress, then I could cause my own pain over and over again and have no way out of it.
You